Yankee Stadium, and it's Game 1 of the World Series. Yesterday, the game was washed out, so the first game was postponed until tonight. Former Boston Red Sox star Rico Petrocelli is with me to bring you all the games live from the series. And Rico, you've been there twice in World Series. And what are the players feeling right now?
Well, you have butterflies right now. Let's face it. You better have, unless you're comatose. But it's a great place to be. It's what you worked for all your career, actually, and you can't wait to get started.
So let's get over to the live pictures, and your announcers are Gary Thorne and former Yankee Rick Cerone.
And the starting lineup. In center field, number 9, Marquis Grissom. Number 9. At second base, number 20, Mark Lemke.
Mark Lemke, who Bobby Cox has said he's my MVP year after year after year.
Somehow he finds a way to get the big hits in the postseason.
At third base, number 10, Chipper Jones.
This is one of the real bright young stars of baseball. Just his second season, as you'll see when he plays like a 7- or 8-year veteran out there. A very accomplished hitter.
Number 27, Fred Mcgriff.
Fred Mcgriff was not hot at the start of the series against St. Louis, but finished with a bang.
And that's one of the trades that Mr. Steinbrenner would like to have back. Traded Freddie Mcgriff for John Mayberry early in his career. He started out as a Yankee.
Number 8
has been a consistent home run hitter. Javi Lopez, the MVP of the National League Championship Series, the Braves catcher. And another relatively young player.
In right field, number 24, Jermaine Dye.
This is the young players taking over for David Justice. In right field, Jermaine Dye. He, too, has played more like a veteran than a youngster this season. And Justice, he played so well, Justice didn't even get on the postseason roster.
Number 18.
Now, a DH is going to be in effect. And Ryan Klesko, who plays the outfield for this team as a starter, will be the designated hitter.
Well, big plus. You get an extra bat as a National League team. Klesko, a guy who hit 34 home runs. Big advantage for a National League team. You add one more hitter to your lineup.
In left field,
they do not use the DH, of course, during the regular season in the National League. Andrew Jones, the second of the Joneses on this team. Another guy who simply played so well he earned a spot.
19 years old. Started this year in A-ball. Worked his way up to the big leagues.
To the World Series. The shortstop will be Jeff Blauser. Struggled a bit this season with injuries. Questioned whether he'd be on the postseason roster at all. Here he is starting.
Number 29.
And there is John Smoltz, who will be the starter.
Number 29.
It's been 15 long years since the Yankees were in the World Series, and this crowd is going to really enjoy this.
Mayor of New York, Mayor Rudolph Giuliani.
Joe Torre. The shortstop, number 2, Derek Jeter.
Probable Rookie of the Year, Derek Jeter, Yankee shortstop, be in the leadoff spot again.
Number 12.
Veteran Wade Boggs.
Number 12.
10 years for Wade since he was in the World Series. That was with the Red Sox against the Mets in 1986.
In center field, number 51.
MVP, Bernie Williams.
And first base, number 24.
Guy who's hoping to pick the bat. Entered into the Hall of Fame in
And direct your
55.
attention
You
to
saw
the
the picture of Joe
microphone
DiMaggio. He'll throw out the
behind home plate.
first ball. Before that, we will have the singing of our
Yankee
national
Stadium
anthem by Robert Merrill.
Rotation in postseason play, playing second base. Chipper Jones is at third base. Fred Mcgriff is the cleanup hitter, playing first, lefty against lefty. Javier Lopez, who was MVP of the National League Championship. And then the two youngsters, Jermaine Dye and Andrew Jones, who comes from Curaçao in the Netherlands Antilles. Then Klesko will be the designated hitter, Jeff Blauser, the shortstop. But it's Jermaine Dye and Andrew Jones. Jermaine Dye's 22 against the Braves. Jim Leyritz is the catcher. He catches Petit when Petit pitches. He's a good catcher with a somewhat weak arm, so the Braves may try to run. Tino Martinez and Wade Boggs on the corners at first and third, both very good fielders. The rookie Jeter, a very good shortstop. Duncan, not quite so good at second base. O'Neill, a good right fielder with a very strong arm. Bernie Williams, very good in center, and center field is huge in Yankee Stadium. But the weak link in this lineup may be Darryl Strawberry having to play in left field. They haven't played him in the field much this season.
And it may be a factor with all the rain from yesterday. The field will be really soaking wet, and I know they brought helicopters in. I think jet bombers and what else they're bringing to try to dry this field off. But it could be a.
Maybe the greatest center fielder who ever played baseball. He finished with a lifetime .325 batting average, the Hall of Fame in 1955. Joe DiMaggio. And just a bit of the Yankee history coming into play here. Now, what kind of history will these New York Yankees write? First pitch, 96 World Series coming up. 36-hour period with over the 4.23 inches of rain here in the New York area. Wind blew. I mean, it was a nor'easter. What's usually a winter storm came in with rain, and the Yankees take the field.
Gary, you a boxing fan? I want to steal a line from my favorite ref, Mills Lane. When he touches gloves, the last thing he says, "Let's get it on." And that's what the players have been waiting for. They want to get it going, especially that first pitch out of the way.
Just to get it going and get started and quiet the jitters down a little bit, if that's possible, when you've come this far. Andy Pettitte will be facing this Atlanta Braves lineup. Marquis Grissom will make the start in center field. Good speed. Mark Lemke, great handler of the bat at second base. Chipper Jones with power at third base. Same true in the cleanup spot. Fred Mcgriff, home run hitter at first base. Javi Lopez will be doing the catching. Jermaine Dye, the youngster in right field. He too has power. So does Andrew Jones. He'll be starting in left field. Ryan Klesko gets the role of designated hitter. Shortstop batting ninth, Jeff Blauser.
That's the lineup that Andy Pettitte has to face. His key, he's got to be able to make better pitches against the left-hand hitters in their lineup. He likes to work the inside part of the plate against righties, and he really has no difference. He hasn't seen these hitters before. I think it's a big advantage for Andy Pettitte.
The catcher for Andy Pettitte is Jim Leyritz. They, the two, have become the combination. Leyritz will make the calls for the young pitcher, and we asked him about how they'll work against this Braves team.
We definitely stay within the game plan no matter who we're playing. But fortunately for me, like I said, I've been here for quite a while. Our spring training was in Lauderdale, and we used to play the Braves pretty much exclusively, them and the Expos. And so I've seen some of their hitters. You know, we've played against most of their guys. And fortunately, I told Andy, we talked a little bit today about the hitters, and I said, listen, I've played against these guys. I know their tendencies. Andy, fortunately or unfortunately, relies on me a lot. We go through a whole game usually without shaking off, because that's the confidence we have in his stuff also. And I think, like I said, if he goes out and he pitches the way he did against Baltimore in that last game, I don't think anybody's going to hit him. But the bottom line is, like I said, we go over their game plan a little bit. We try to go their strengths and weaknesses. But the bottom line is what Andy's going to be doing that day.
And that's really a good combination for the Yankees. Laird's behind the plate, 16-6 with Andy Pettitte on the mound. And there's a little comfort zone when you have a catcher that really thinks along with you. The defense for the Yankees, Strawberry, has got a broken right toe. The ground is really dried out, so that shouldn't be a factor. Bernie Williams, their strongest outfielder.
And we are ready to go. The 1996 World Series is now officially underway as the cameras flash. Andy Pettitte gets the call, and nope, inside for a ball on Marquis Grissom. There you see the numbers in postseason and the 10 games that have been played by Grissom, a veteran in center field. Right-handed batter who brings some speed to this Atlanta lineup. And because they've been in the World Series and postseason play so often here, if that matters, they certainly have the advantage in that department with postseason experience. Chases one to left field on a high fastball. That's Strawberry. One down.
Oh, that's one thing that Grissom doesn't really do. He helped Pettitte out, who missed the first 2 pitches badly and swung at a high fastball. Sometimes hitters will get themselves out. 2-0, you're in the driver's seat. See, he just expanded the zone and got himself out.
So Andy Pettitte gets the first out. Marquis Grissom retired. And that will bring up Mark Lemke, who takes the strike. Lemke is a switch hitter. His postseason has been magnificent. In fact, in his career, he is a .486 hitter in postseason play. One of the highest numbers ever for a guy who you don't think of having those kinds of numbers during the regular season. But when the heat's on, he gets them.
Sometimes you get so concerned with those 3, 4, 5 hitters, you forget about those little guys that set the table. And for the Braves, it's been the 1, 2, 3 hitters in their lineup. In the LCS, they hit .388. They really set the table for the rest of the order.
He can really handle a bat if they have an opportunity in the series for hit and run type situations. Mark Lemke in that number 2 spot is a guy Bobby Cox likes to use to move people around. He'll take the ball the other way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lemke also a tough guy to strike out. And he pops that one up left field line. Maybe room. Jeter's over, and not quite. But a row too far back to make the play.
That's really the interesting thing about Yankee Stadium. Fans are close to the action, almost like the newer ballparks that are being built now. See, not a whole lot of foul territory down the lines. Jeter thought he had a play on that ball. He just ran out of room.
Count will remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lemke with 1 down and nobody on. See how that corner juts out down there. It really does disappear in a hurry on you. Lemke will step up to try and quiet the crowd a little bit. And again popped up, this one behind the plate. Laird's. Two down.
The one place where Yankee Stadium has more room is behind home plate. For a catcher on a ball that gets by, you really have to hustle. There you can get a good look at it. A lot of room behind home plate. Those foul balls will stay in play.
Take a look at the dimensions at Yankee Stadium. 318 if you can really pull it. Left center widens out. Deep center 408. Right center 385. That's very doable. And that's short porch and right, of course, for the left-handed hitters. Which is why the Yankees like to start left-handers, is to keep the ball from opposing bats from ending up right down there in that corner. 2 down and nobody on. And Chipper Jones, another switch hitter, takes the pitch down low. 2-0 from Andy Pettitte. Postseason has been a very good one for Chipper Jones after another very fine season for the Atlanta Braves. Andy Pettitte got it in. He drives it to the gap in right center field. It's going to stay up. O'Neill hauls it in. And in his first appearance in the World Series, Andy Pettitte retires the Atlanta Braves in order. Paul O'Neill hauling that one down. Braves do not score. The Yankees coming up.
4 innings pitched. He is really zeroed in on that outside part of the plate against right-hand hitters.
For Smoltz, his 4th World Series and his 6th World Series start. 1-0 in World Series play. He won back in '92 against Toronto. He will go against Derek Jeter. And Jeter takes the first pitch in the outside corner for a strike. And Jeter questions it. And the Yankees won't like the first call right away. Because if Smoltz gets those kinds of calls, he'll be real tough.
If he can expand that strike zone just on that outside part of the plate, makes him even tougher.
He forces Jeter to go after one out there at the same place in the second pitch. Lemke puts it away, and Jeter's retired. Jim Evans, veteran, is our home plate umpire for this game.
Take a look at the Braves defense. Rookie Andrew Jones, great throwing arm. 6th youngest player in series history to get a start. He'll be in left field. Grissom, another good throwing outfielder with 10 assists this year. And Jermaine Dye, very speedy outfield. There's Andrew Jones, the young 19 years old, playing in the World Series.
What a start to your career. The veteran Wade Boggs has struggled mightily towards the end of the season and on here into postseason play. Towards short, Jeff Blauser. And there are 2 down. So 2 quick outs. Notice the Yankees hitting early in the count because they know Smoltz won't be behind on many batters.
Now that's the MO on the Braves pitchers. They like to work ahead, use a lot of fastballs early in the count, and sometimes that might be the best pitch you get.
John Smoltz hoping to get some help from Jim Evans behind the plate on the length and width of that strike zone. Terry Tater, Tim Welke, Steve Ripley, the infield, Larry Young, and Jerry Davis have the line selected on the basis of their performance during the regular season. 3 from the American and 3 from the National League. 2 down, nobody on, and here is Bernie Williams. The switch hitter who's just had a spectacular postseason. 11 RBIs, 9 games, including 5 home runs. And Smoltz starts inside on him, ball 1. John Smoltz, left-handers hit .221 off him, right-handers .212. .216 combined batting average during the regular season off this right-hander. It was the 2nd best in the National League. 1-0, high and inside this time. 2-0 count on Williams. Oh, he's busted Williams twice inside.
Well, we remember doing that last series against the Orioles. They thought they found something. There's that. Look at that. That is amazing. That is what the entire staff held the opposition to batting. A 147 and a 204. There's some bingo numbers.
Just unheard of. Breaking ball, 3-0 inside and low.
Getting back to Bernie Williams. Remember the Orioles thought they found something, working Williams inside hard, force him to pull the ball. He was handling the breaking ball against the Orioles. So, you know, you have scouts that watch the way Bernie was swinging the bat. That was a week ago.
3-0 count here. And Williams takes the high strike. John Smoltz walked only 55 during the regular season. He gives up 2 walks per 9 innings. He was tied for 6th best in that department, and to make it even tougher, he struck out 276, leading the National League in strikeouts. 3-1 to Bernie Williams. Fastball there inside corner.
Remember we talk about how hitters will try to work the count if they can against pitchers they haven't faced before. Bernie's seen all the fastballs inside, and that pitch there he tried to go away with. The other thing with Smoltz, you see Lopez is going to the split finger.
And it's down low. So he came back from a 3-0 count to get it 3-2, but Williams stayed off that split finger pitch, and he's on with a 2-0 walk.
See, Smoltz isn't just a fastball pitcher. He has the split finger and a pretty good slider to go along with the fastball. The thing that's made him much more effective this year, Gary, I think, is that he's willing to throw more fastballs, and he's really zeroed in on an outside part of the plate.
Challenged hitters a lot more this season than he had in past years. Javi Lopez, his catcher, 26% throwing out base runners. Williams at first. Breaking ball is in to Tino Martinez. The Yankees really hope Martinez is going to be able to pick it up. As Rick mentioned, no postseason RBIs for the guy who was tied in the lead with 117 RBIs on this team. That is a number they want to get some help on. There's that splitter again and a 2-strike count. He hit only .227 from August 20 on. So the end of the season was not good for him, and it continued into postseason play. Smoltz with 2 down and a 2-strike count on Martinez. You got 2 pitchers in this game. If you're base runners, you better be careful.
Very good. Exactly, Gary. They hold runners on. Very difficult to steal bases off of John Smoltz. And then on the other side of the coin, Andy Pettitte led the major leagues in pickoffs. But Smoltz really works that first base. He's got a good pickoff move.
There's Pettitte, who had 11 pickoffs. 0-2 count. Williams not going anywhere, and the pitch is inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cool enough for the players to have on the long sleeve under jerseys. Be down to about mid-40s. Another strong throw, almost got away. Was blocked enough by Mcgriff, so he stepped right on Bernie Williams, though, going over him.
There's Gene Monahan, the trainer. Actually looked like the ball might have caught Bernie underneath, somewhere in the belly part. Ball actually hit him. Fred Mcgriff didn't get the glove on it. That could have been down the right field line, and Bernie would have been on third base.
Early break right there for the Braves on that throw over by John Smoltz. 1-2 the count. Martinez waiting. That's the first time he's gone outside to him after working him inside, and the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, they've already tipped their hat. Smoltz did, and the Braves, how they want to work Martinez. He's seen 3 split fingers and only 1 fastball off the plate inside. So I guess their scouting report is make him hit the off-speed pitches.
2-2 delivery to him, and the count goes full. Well, for the second time here in the inning, Smoltz goes to a 3-2 count. Came back on Williams to get it to 3-2. Was ahead on the count here to Martinez before going full. Williams at first, a bigger lead. Mcgriff moves off the bag to play a bit behind him. There he is. Werner goes, 3-2 pitch. Walked him.
I'll tell you what, you got to give the Yankee hitters, Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez, some credit. They have not seen Smoltz before. Bernie walks on a 3-2 split finger, and now Smoltz goes to a 3-2 slider. You're looking fastball. That's a pitch that normally you would swing at. But they had shown good discipline to get Cecil Fielder up in this situation.
So with 2 down, the Yankees get 2 walks. We said Smoltz averages only 2 per game. Fewest in the major leagues, you see right there. Swung on and missed Cecil Fielder. Cecil, the designated hitter. He has come through, even though his average is not high. Look at the RBIs. He's got 12 RBIs. Very productive.
It was amazing. He had 7 hits in the postseason. All hits have led to RBIs for the Yankees.
He is 6 for 13 with runners in scoring position in postseason. You would not think that if you watched all the games and every at-bat, because he had times when nobody was on, when he had some bad at-bats, but when they've been on, he's been tough. He's got 2 on here, 2 down. 2-1.
And right now you see Smoltz is out of control. He's not locked in on that outside part of the plate. And the one thing the Yankee hitters do, they force you to throw strikes. There was a graphic we saw just before. The Braves set the all-time major league record for strikeouts in a season, and they had the fewest walk total. So if you're patient and don't go out of the strike zone, force them to throw strikes, you have a little better chance against Leo Mazzoni's staff.
2 ball, 1 strike count on Cecil Fielder. Yankee fans hoping for an early RBI. Fielder fouls that one off on the breaking ball, down, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The one thing with Cecil, the report on Cecil is to get the ball up in the strike zone. He is a very good low ball hitter. The other report is to try to take away his arms. So you want to try to lock him up. Look at how he drops that bat down on the low ball. Very good low ball hitter.
Yankees second fewest strikeouts as a team in the league during the regular season. Fielder chases that one right field. It is deep. It is in the yard and hauled in by Jermaine Dye. Just shy of the warning track. Cecil Fielder retired. The Yankees, no runs, a couple of walks. They leave 2 on. We've completed 1 scoreless. He can pull one here, launch one out into that corner down in right field. Postseason numbers for him. Mcgriff during the regular season shy of the 30 home run mark as he had 28. He had hit 30 home runs or more in his major league seasons except for the last 2. In the last 2 he's been below that number, just below. Still picked up 107 RBIs. And in postseason has hit 3 dingers.
A very consistent player over the years. 6 straight years with 90+ RBIs. This guy can drive the ball the other way to hurt you.
And a strike on the outside corner. Andy Pettitte.
And Gary, if there's been one thing knock against Andy Pettitte this year, left-hand batters. They have hit .329 against Pettitte this year.
1-2 delivery to Mcgriff, and he chases, and he's gone. First strikeout for Andy Pettitte.
We talk about the cut fastball that he uses against right-handers. Well, against left-handers, it acts like a slider. Look at this ball, just keeps sliding away. Mcgriff just swings over the top of it. That is a good look from center field at a slider. Let's see Fred McGriff. He just breaks down. The front hip opens up. He's got no chance to drive that slider.
McGriff retired on the strikeout, and Harvey Lopez fouls off the inside pitch. He won the MVP of the National League Championship Series. Did it with those numbers overall in 9 games. Can't be much more productive than that.
You know what? And there was no one way that the Cardinals were trying to pitch him. He hit breaking balls deep. He hit fastballs down and away deep. When you see a guy in that type of zone, you try to loosen him up. Try to make him pull balls. Get him to loosen, move his feet a little bit in the batter's box.
He hit .301 against left-handers during the regular season for the catcher for the Atlanta Braves. Lopez has had to learn to call games. There was never any question about his ability as a hitter. There were questions about his ability to control the pitching staff. 1-2 the count on him.
And that's a very good point, Gary, because as a hitter, you can do things. But to handle a pitching staff, you have to be able to work them. And that's what you want to see from your catcher first and foremost. Handle that pitching staff.
And a chopper. Jeter will not have a play on that one, and a base hit. So when it's working for you, you get those kind of rabbit hop singles. And Lopez just reaching on that one. Bounces it over second base, and there's the first hit of the '96 World Series. Javi Lopez a single. Picked up right where he left off, isn't he?
It's unbelievable. He threw him back-to-back changeups, and I talk about adjusting per at bat. Well, Javi Lopez did that per pitch. Another changeup. See, not real pretty, but when you're hot, they find holes.
Almost stopped before it got out to the center fielder. One away, runner on. And a broken bat, foul ball outside of third by Jermaine Dye as the barrel ends up down there by the third base coach's box. And you'll get some new lumber on this one. Jermaine Dye played 98 games during the season. You see the bat splintered right there. Ended up hitting .281, just too good to get out of there.
Look at his swing. Well, he really picked up the pace when David Justice went down. And then he, like you said, he got in the lineup and they couldn't get him out.
Really the reason David Justice is not on the postseason roster, out with physical problems for much of the year, and just could not get back. 0-1 pitch to him. But it comes inside, and the count goes to a ball and a strike. David Justice has been a leader on this team over the past seasons where they have gone to postseason play in the World Series and winning it. And many surprised that they didn't make a greater effort to get him back on that roster.
You think they don't know about Pettit's move? Look at how close Javi Lopez is standing to first base.
On the bag.
He's almost on top of the base.
Javi Lopez not a base stealer. Count goes to 2 balls 1 strike here. He's checking with Jimmy Williams at first base on the signs.
And this is what you talk about, a one-way lead. This is a one-way lead for sure. Look at it. I mean, he's right on top of the base. Now he's getting real aggressive. He went off another half a foot.
Dye takes it up high, and Andy Pettitte falls behind on Jermaine Dye. 3 balls and 1 strike. Pettitte walked 72 in 221 innings while striking out 162 during the regular season. Decent ratio. Few more walks than he'd like to have given up, but not all that bad. 3-1 the count here.
Wonder if Bobby Cox may put Lopez in motion. Jermaine Dye 3-1. There's Pat Corrales.
Pat Corrales, former Major League manager, the first base coach of the Atlanta Braves, yelling over there to get his base runner back. 3-1 pitch off speed, foul back, and the count's 3-2.
Same situation. Will Bobby Cox start the runner at first base? Very interesting coaching staff that Bobby Cox has assembled. You have the former manager as your first base coach, and then down at third base, former Major League manager Jimmy Williams.
There's Jimmy Williams. Pat Corrales. 3-2 delivery. Runner not going. Hit in the air to left field off the handle. Strawberry over. Will haul it in. A little further up in the bat, and he'd have had a home run, but that one was in on the fists a bit, and there are 2 down.
When you ask all the Braves about Jermaine Dye, they say he's a very good breaking ball hitter for a youngster. This is a 3-2 cutter. He just misses that ball. You talked about just down the trademark. And when you hit a ball down the lines, the pitcher's not real sure if that ball's going to carry out of here. We talked about the dimensions. Very short at Yankee Stadium, right down the lines.
So Dye is the second out here in the second inning. Lopez remains on at first base. And the 19-year-old Andrew Jones will stand in. And he takes Pettitte's pitch inside for a ball. Right-handed hitters predominating, of course, in this lineup. There are the postseason numbers in the 8 games that Andrew Jones played in this season. Jones hit .379 off left-handers. One of the reasons he's in there, and Plesko is the DH, getting them both in the lineup. Pitch is taken inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Veteran manager Bobby Cox is a pacer. He'll spend a lot of time walking up and down the dugout.
Oh yeah, he'll wear out that dugout.
Pettitte's 2-0 delivery. Off speed again. Cued that one off the end of the bat. 2 ball 1 strike count on Jones.
Jones had a home run in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Youngest player ever to hit a postseason home run. Only 19 years old. And he put his time in this year. He played in A-ball, AA, AAA, big leagues, and now he's in the World Series. He made all the stops in the minor leagues to get here.
You got to know when this season started, this is the last place he thought he was going to end up. 2-1 pitch to him. Great one by Andy Pettitte as he catches the outside corner of that one. 2-2.
And a tradition here at Yankee Stadium with 2 strikes. They stand on their feet cheering for the strikeout. I think it really started when the Lafayette man, Ron Guidry, was here.
2-2 delivery inside, and the count will go full. 3 ball 2 strike count on Jones, so that will move Martinez off first base to play behind Javi Lopez with 2 away, 3-2. He will be running on the pitch. 3-2, left to wait, snuck in behind him.
Very dangerous play, Gary, because it's all timing. You're trying to battle the runner over there. Sometimes you get too fancy. You try to trick yourself. You wind up throwing the ball away.
Andrew Jones will have to wait as this pickoff move went awry. Runner goes, hit deep in the air to left field. He has done it again. The 19-year-old goodbye home run. Andrew Jones with a 2-run homer on a 3-2 pitch has given the Atlanta Braves a 2-0 lead.
Wow. So much for the ball not carrying because of cold weather. He put a charge in that baseball.
Jones had 5 home runs during the regular season, and they all came off lefties in the limited games he appeared in.
This ball is hammered to left field. Well back, and now he becomes the youngest player ever to homer in a World Series game. I believe Mickey Mantle was the youngest before that.
Wow. Andruw Jones brings Lopez ahead of him, and a 2-0 lead on a big 2-out hit. Breaking ball misses up high to Ryan Klesko. 1-0 the count with 2 down, nobody on. So an early World Series record set here in game 1. And that one up the middle, knocked down by Pettit. Think he got the glove on that. His throw is in time. And Klesko is retired. But Andy Pettit, who gave up 22 home runs to right-handers during the regular season, gave the Braves something to celebrate on that home run by Jones. The World Series, there haven't been many. And Andruw Jones joining them, 19 years, 5 months. So John Smoltz has a 2-0 lead to work with as Darryl Strawberry stands in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Strawberry, O'Neill, and Mariano Duncan due up for the Yankees. The Atlanta Braves, they've got power in their lineup. I mean, they can hit the home runs during the regular season, finish 2nd in homers. There's a shift on here.
Look at that. I mean, there is nobody from this side back towards third base. Big shift on Strawberry.
Yet in the outfield, Marquis Grissom is playing the other way.
Well, what that tells you, Gary, that on the ground he pulls the ball. In the air, he's more of a straightaway hitter. Look at that big hole down the third base line.
This is the Williams shift. Ted Williams used to see this kind of a shift. We rarely see it. Bobby Cox obviously has gone back through the scouting reports, and it obviously is indicated Strawberry rarely, if ever, hits a ground ball to third.
And you start playing head games with the hitter too. He looks out there and he tries to alter his swing.
That one popped up shallow left field. Jones moving in will put this one away, and perfectly played. Scouting reports were right on that at bat. 1 down.
Straight away in the outfield, pull on the ground. And I think Bobby Cox wouldn't mind Strawberry just hitting little weak ground balls to the left side of the diamond. Stay away from the long ball.
Take that anytime other than the home run, right? 1 away. Strawberry retired, and Paul O'Neill coming up.
Well, and that 2-run homer, what it did, it really took the crowd out of the ball game early. They were fired up. Now you can really settle in if you're the fans and the Yankees. Just start playing some good baseball.
John Smoltz misses up high with it. Ball 1 to O'Neill. Still bothered by the hamstring. 302 during the regular season, and numbers nowhere near that here in postseason for the Yankees. Played straight away in the infield on O'Neill, the left-handed hitter, and that one misses. Ball 2-0. And the outfield again will play around to the opposite way on O'Neill. Marquis Grissom moved over.
Well, right here, Gary, huge gap in right center field for O'Neill.
He has some numbers from the National League against Smoltz when both of them played there. And a 3-0 count.
Look at where Marquis Grissom is. He's over here. Look at this whole area in right center field. They just don't think that he can pull the ball, but especially now, I think you have to adjust. He's ahead in the count. You're more apt to pull balls when you're ahead in the count.
Got a fastball that time, and makes it 3-1. Two great center fielders in this series. Marquis Grissom and Bernie Williams. We'll see them make some great plays before it's done. 3-1 pitch, and he walked it. Well, John Smoltz now has walked 3, and we've only gone an inning and a third. He never walked more than 4 in a game during the regular season, and did that only once against the Cardinals. So the Yankees are getting a little benefit early here.
And 30 pitches already in the 2nd inning. not his normal ball-strike ratio. Really high number of pitches early in the game.
Has not struck anybody out yet, and he, we said, led the National League in strikeouts. 9.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. Mariano Duncan in at third base. Chipper Jones that time looking for a possible bunt.
Possible bunt. They got the wrong guy. Duncan is a free swinger. He went something like 330 at bats a couple of years ago without a walk.
And this one, a broken bat. Fly ball to shallow right. Second baseman Lemke in foul territory makes a nice catch. Lemke is such a quality player. You'll see this guy game after game perform for the Atlanta Braves unsung kind of plays like this one. He is consistent in the field.
Yeah, he's a smart player. He plays with his head. He can beat you a lot of different ways. He's not pretty at some of the things he does, but he comes up with big hits or a big defensive play.
Every year, Bobby Cox says that's my MVP, most versatile player. He says that year after year about Lemke. Somebody's always around in spring training to take Lemke's job, and Lemke always starts at second base. For the last 5 years, that's the way it's been for Cox and Mark Lemke. Runner at first base, 2 down here. Jimmy Leyritz in the number 9 spot. The Braves on top 2-0. Yankees still looking for their first hit off John Smoltz.
He's going to make you beat him away. I'm talking about Smoltz. He's going to stay on that outside part of the plate until the hitters adjust.
Strike, no, missed on the inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm having a hard time with Jim Evans. The home plate umpire brings his arms up immediately to signal what the count is, right when you usually make the strike call. So Jimmy's one of those guys we're going to have to wait on. Pitch is outside. Goes to 2-1. Might see the emblem on the side of those caps the players are wearing. This is the first time in a World Series the World Series emblem has been added to the uniforms of the teams involved. There it is right there. It's the official logo for the '96 World Series. 2-1 pitch up high. Lopez had set up outside, and that's not where that pitch went.
Well, what I've seen so far, you can't waste opportunities against Smoltz. He is not on top of his game. You got to take advantage of him. They had 2 runners on in the first. Cecil made the out.
And he walks. Leyritz, his 4th walk of the game. That's why Leo Mazzoni has stopped rocking.
He is not used to seeing Smoltz struggle with his control. When I talked to Leo before the ball game, he said no, he's locked in on that outside part of the plate all year. And right now he's not there. He's missing up. He's missing out of the strike zone.
Well, will this be a game where John Smoltz can move on through the innings without his stuff? Great pitchers oftentimes do that.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of him when you can. You need a base hit here if you're Yankees, just to get back on the get on the board, take advantage of his wildness.
Misses again to Jeter. Leadoff batter popped out his first time up.
See, normally, if it wasn't a veteran pitcher on the mound, either Bobby Cox or Leo Mazzoni would go out and talk to him. These are guys that have been through this before. What can Leo tell him that he doesn't already know?
Missed outside with it. 2 balls and no strikes.
And the one other thing you have to consider, Evans is American League umpire behind home plate. A lot smaller strike zone in the American League. We know that. A lot longer ball games. Leo he is rocking. He has not seen this before from his pitchers.
Pitching coach of the Atlanta Braves, Leo Mazzoni. A 2-0 count on Jeter. Jeter's 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position in postseason. There's the strike on the outside corner.
See what
we'll probably see him do, he's going to try and work back in, huh?
Yeah, he's going to try to bring a little bit closer to the plate. That's where he wants to work. He wants to work this outside part of the plate all day long. That's where he lives. Right now it's a little smaller strike zone with Evans behind the plate. He's not getting that call.
2-1 the count. 2 on for the Yankees. Inside corner that time with a little bend on it, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is where in years past Smoltz would have run into trouble. This year, what he's done in these situations is come right at you. Instead of trying to finesse you, you say, all right, I haven't got my best stuff. Here it is. Go ahead and hit it. Yankees have 2 on, 2 down. Second base. Lemke got the force to Blauser. And for the second inning in a row, the Yankees get 2 on, both via walks. Do not get either of them home. The Atlanta Braves at the end of 2 have the 2-0 lead. Pitching coach. I mean, some teams, guys just kind of go in there and half-heartedly listen, turn around. Not when Leo's talking, because he has Bobby Cox's full support as a pitching coach. That one misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Jeff Blauser.
And Gary, I can't read lips or know what that conversation was, but what I noticed, it almost looked like Leo was saying your head is flying open. Drive your head towards the target.
That's going to be a base hit into the corner for Blauser. Strawberry over. Blauser, a big turn, will stay. Strawberry, good throw in. And the number 9 hitter, Jeff Blauser, comes up with a leadoff single here in the 3rd inning. That'll be the 3rd hit for the Braves.
Gets the cutter up in the strike zone and hits it down the line. One thing for the Yankees, they're not sure about Strawberry's broken toe, but he covered a lot of ground and made a strong throw to second base.
Concerned about his toe in this wet outfield and O'Neill's hamstring in the wet outfield for this game. Here is Marquis Grissom, the leadoff batter. He flied out his first time up. Bounced in the dirt. Good play by Jimmy Leyritz to keep that one in front of him, and Blauser on at first base. Not a base stealer. Jeff Blauser at first.
55-foot curveball that Leyritz did a good job just by putting his body in front of it. You don't have to catch the ball. You try to block the ball with your body. That's why you have all that equipment on.
That's what it's for, right? Marquis Grissom, who led this team in hits during the season with 207. And that one off the fist will fall in center field. Blauser, a good break, will stay at second base. Bobbled by Williams, but not enough for him to move up. So the first 2 Braves here in the 3rd inning deliver back-to-back singles, 2 on and nobody out.
And the crowd is very quiet. Very quiet. Remember, this is a Brave team that really struggled at times during the year to score runs. And then all of a sudden, their last 3 ball games against the Cardinals, they scored 32 runs.
Atlanta Braves were a very good offensive team during the year. They were 2nd in average and 4th in runs in the league, 2nd in home runs, yet had virtually nobody in the top 10 of offensive categories except Marquis Grissom, who was 3rd in hits. RBIs, average, home runs, not one person in the top 10. Much the same for the Yankees. Both these teams' offense is pretty much divided. Squaring for the bunt. Good one dropped down the line. Tag made by Martinez, but Lemke gives himself up for the team right there. A sacrifice will put 2 runners in scoring position with only 1 away.
This is the World Series. You try to add on once you get the lead. Normally in this situation, you want the 3rd baseman to field this ball, but he just says, okay, I can make a good bunt right at Tino Martinez. He gives himself up, and you advance the runners into scoring position.
He had 5 sacrifices during the season. Lemke called on to do a job, does it. Now Chipper Jones is called on to pick up an RBI or 2. And he takes the pitch for a strike on the inside corner. Hit the ball hard, but flied out to right field. His first time up. Chipper Jones 3 for 9 here in postseason play with runners in scoring position. Infield is drawn in except the shortstop Jeter. Unusual infield alignment.
Well, very unusual, because Duncan had started back on the first pitch. Then the strike came and he moved in. So what Torre says, okay, he can pull the ball hard on the ground. We'll give him a run. But if he goes the other way, we want to cut off the run. I mean, it's a little different. Torre has been known to play the infield in the first inning. He just goes pretty much by hunches.
Been pretty good hunches so far.
Very good.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Chipper Jones, 2 on. And he lifts that one foul. Looked like he was trying to go to right field that time as he pulled that back foot up. Tried to drive the ball the other way.
Well, to me, I think it's easier to drive a ball to right center field to get a sacrifice fly than try to pull it. Now you see Torre waving the Jeter. He wants everybody in because the count is in the pitcher's favor. See, now all of a sudden the whole infield right here on the inside part of the diamond. They're going to try to cut off the run at the plate if they can.
1-2 the count. Chipper Jones waiting. Ground ball in the hole. Base hit. It'll score 1 run. Blauser across. They're coming to the plate. Strawberry's throw. Grissom is in. And down to second base goes Chipper Jones. So Jimmy Williams, the third base coach, said to Darryl Strawberry, I'm going to test you right now. As he did not hesitate, waved him around. And the Braves have a 4-0 lead.
See the infield in. Maybe if Jeter's back, he makes the play. You give up 1 run. Now all of a sudden you've given up 2 and another man in scoring position. I think the play actually caught Strawberry a little bit by surprise. Strawberry wasn't playing that deep. Right here, it doesn't look like he's hustling all out to make the play, but the ground ball gets through and they add on.
Chipper Jones, 2 RBIs. His stealing third base. Throw down. Nobody watched him. The Yankees are sleeping. Strawberry was not alert on the play before, and the infield and Andy Pettitte were not awake on that play. A huge break at second base by Chipper Jones.
And that's an instinct play by Chipper Jones. Very aggressive. Look at this. This didn't hesitate at all. Didn't think Jones would steal. He had 14 out of 15 this year stolen base, and that's the right time to try to get to third base with 1 out. Now you can score without a base hit. No chance for Leyritz.
An opportunistic Atlanta Braves team here at the early part of this game. They've got a 4-0 lead, still just 1 away. Joe Torre's got to be concerned. Bobby Cox's club getting out early. The infield is drawn in again. Mcgriff, a strikeout victim, his first time up.
Very aggressive style of the Braves so far. Grissom on the base hit by Chipper Jones, and then the steal of third.
And another base hit into left field. Chipper Jones will score, and Mcgriff picks up the RBI as Andy Pettitte getting hit where they ain't here in this third inning. And Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, is on the phone to the bullpen. A 5-0 Braves lead.
This is exactly how the Braves did in the St. Louis Cardinals. They get a lead and then they really add on it. It seems like it becomes contagious for the hitters. Pettitte right now is getting the ball up in the strike zone. Look at how far away Mcgriff is. He's conceded. He's going down to left field. Look at from that swing. He got the high fastball and he took it into left field. Nice piece of hitting by Mcgriff.
3 runs across here in the third inning. 5 runs on 6 hits total. The Atlanta bench up and at him on that base hit by Fred Mcgriff. The left-handers, of course, being used intentionally, as we mentioned earlier, by Joe Torre. As Brian Boehringer warming up. But this Braves team went 27-20 against left-handers during the regular season. That's more wins against left-handers than any other National League team. So while it does shut down some of their offense, they've got other guys who've picked the pace up.
Oh yeah, this is a good team. If they're going to score runs like this and get early leads, they're going to be impossible to beat if you're the Yankees.
Andy Pettitte with 1 down, runner on at first base, and Lopez has singled and scored. That one bounces. Leyritz keeps it in front of him, and Mcgriff stays at first.
Gary, you always wonder how a team's going to respond to having a big layoff. Remember, during the course of a season, the most days you ever get off are 2. That's the All-Star break. You're off Monday, you're off Tuesday, you have a workout Wednesday, and you come back to playing again on Thursday. The Yankees have been off for 7 days, and some teams have a little rust.
When you don't really have time to have much rust,
Right now, you can't afford that.
Yep.
You wonder, you say, well, who's it going to affect? That 1 extra day of rain. Is it going to affect the Braves? Lose their momentum, what they had after the championship series against the Cardinals, or will it be the Yankees who benefit because of the injuries? But we're seeing tonight the Braves have definitely taken advantage of that.
Yep. 1-1 count on Javi Lopez. Breaking ball in the dirt. Well, you mentioned earlier, Rick, we were talking about it, in fact, on the way over to the ballpark. For a team that didn't start the postseason hot at the plate, the Braves, to be able to keep going as soon as the bats did get hot has really got to help them.
Right. They have a nice feeling going, and what I've noticed, it becomes contagious. Look at that. Plenty of days off. Yeah. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. And tonight, you're seeing Andy Pettitte not on top of his game. but the Braves taking advantage of what the Yankees are giving them.
A 2-1 count on Javi Lopez. Mcgriff on at first base. Jammed him with a fastball, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 1 down here. We were also talking, Rick, about a note we had that time off. This is the 5th time in the World Series history that one team has had 4 more days of rest than the opponent. Yet in 3 of those 4 instances, the team with the more rest won. You were one of those.
In 1981, we won real early. We beat the Oakland A's.
And just missed with that one. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Lopez.
We had about 5 days off that time. We won game number 1 against the Dodgers here at Yankee Stadium, 5-3 behind Guidry.
3-2 count, only 1 away. Mcgriff will be held at first base by Martinez. He's only a couple of steps off the bag over there, and the count remains at 3-2. Atlanta team taking advantage of the opportunities here. 2 RBIs by Chipper Jones. Fred McGriff with an RBI single this inning. 3-2 count on Lopez. And he has drawn a walk. And Andy Pettitte continues in trouble. Still only 1 away. First walk he has given up. That'll put runners on at first and second base. The house that Ruth built has gone very quiet, and Torrey is on his way out. They're going to make the move. Very early you saw him turn. They have already made 1 visit to the mound. So Andy Pettitte, who averaged 6 2/3 innings per start during the regular season, in his first World Series start, is coming out very early.
5 runs down, World Series time. Try something different. That's what Torrey's thinking is. Only 52 pitches thrown. But the Braves hitter have really done a good job. They've taken the ball the other way. The big hit by Jones.
You see when the ball is up, you could see it much better. If it's down or away from the batter, it's obviously tougher to make contact. But in this case, it was right there, and that's the one you look for as a batter. And they have some pretty good hitters on Atlanta, and they took advantage of it.
So now Joe Torre's going to Bowringer as his pitcher, and what's he going to bring?
Well, the Bowringer is a right-handed pitcher. He has a fastball, a slider, and a curveball, but not real good stuff.
Let's take a look.
52 pitches, 5 runs later. And now if you're Torre, you try to stop the bleeding with another right-hander, Brian Bowringer.
Regular season numbers for him. Jermaine Dye waiting on the 1-0 count. Slider misses outside to him. Dye flied out his first time up.
And they've completely, I'm talking about the Braves, have taken the Yankee fans out of this ball game.
A 5-0 lead. The 2 base runners on. Mcgriff at second base, Lopez at first, the responsibility of Andy Pettitte. Dye with a 2-0 count. Fouls it off. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike on Jermaine Dye. Braves have had a couple of RBIs on the home run by Andrew Jones, 2 RBIs on the single by Chipper Jones, and an RBI on the single by Mcgriff. 2 1/3 innings, 6 hits, a walk, and a strikeout for Andy Pettitte. Not his final line yet. Check swing, he went around on it. Home plate umpire Evans makes the call.
And you look at the little bunt that Mark Lemke laid down to advance the runners. Do the little things, you win games. See Dye trying to cheat on that fastball. Everything I've heard about Dye is a very good breaking ball hitter. That fastball's right by him.
Jermaine Dye struck out 67 times in 98 games. Off the fist, fouls it back to stay alive here. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Dye.
This is Andrew Jones. 19 years old, took that high fastball and hit the 2-run homer in the 2nd inning.
He's on deck as Jermaine Dye with a 2-2 count. Big lead at second base for Mcgriff. That one off the fist could be trouble out in no man's land. Strawberry diving makes the catch. Well, the toe hasn't bothered him on the 2 plays he's had.
And that gets the crowd a little bit excited. Strawberry had to go a long way. Bernie Williams was not going to be able to make this play. Good hustle by Strawberry. Much improved in the outfield this year. A lot of that credit goes to Jose Cardinal, the outfield first base coach. There's Jose for the Yankees.
2 down, still 2 on. Breaking ball misses down low. The 8th man up here in the 3rd inning for the Atlanta Braves. Andrew Jones, who had that home run with a couple down in the 2nd inning, looking for another big 2-out hit. And he takes it for a strike.
Oh, they rave. I'm talking about everybody on the Braves, coaching staff, Bobby Cox, the manager. They rave about this youngster. They say, watch this kid. He's going to be something special.
And it's there for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes on him.
How about that little note? He joined his teammate, Fred Mcgriff, a home run in their first World Series at bat. The one thing that they do say, he's got to make the adjustment to the breaking ball. So you can be taught that. You can't be taught to handle a good fastball. And that's one thing he can do.
He can handle that. 1-2 pitch swung on and hit in the air down the line towards the seats. Jeter and Strawberry over and will not have a play. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count remains as Jeter heads back.
We just found out that Mcgriff hit home runs in his first 2 World Series at bats. That's a pretty good feat.
Nice start.
Oh, babe, it's not that easy.
No.
You're supposed to be a little scared up there, nervous.
He's got 2 on. He's 2 for 2 in postseason with runners in scoring position for Andrew Jones. And this one he fouls back again, fights it off. He's got Mcgriff out there at 2nd base. Lopez on at 1st. 2 down. 8th man up in the 3rd. Good speed with Mcgriff at 2nd base. Lopez not quite as fast a base runner over there at 1st. But with 2 down, they'll be running on anything hit here. 1-2 count. Takes that slider, a hard one, down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Brian Boehringer. Boehringer here in postseason play, working for the 3rd time. He's worked an inning and a 3rd coming into this game. Has given up 2 runs, 1 earned, including 1 home run. Walking 2 and striking out none. 2-2. Very tight on the fists, and the count's full.
3 different minor league levels. Look at that. 34 home runs. Was named minor league player of the year for the 2nd consecutive year. And Bobby Cox brought him up August 31st, knowing that he'd be on this postseason roster.
Runners go. How about Mcgriff had 2 in his first 2 postseason at-bats? Well, chalk up another one. Andrew Jones has tied Mcgriff in that department, too. His 2nd home run of the game, 3 RBIs, and the Atlanta Braves have picked up right where they left off against the Cardinals. They have an 8-0 lead here in the 3rd inning. 6 runs in.
Wow. Wake up. 19 years old. You're not supposed to be doing this. 3-2 breaking ball in the middle of the plate. And Jones hammers it to left center field.
So Boehringer has given up now 2 home runs and an inning and a 3rd worked in postseason. That clears the bases. Those are the kind of numbers they are putting up right now.
Wow.
There wouldn't even be 1 if it hadn't been for a wild pitch.
Yeah, that was a Mark Wohler's wild pitch. So the staff has done their job, but the hitters have come alive at the right time for the Braves.
Swung on and fouled off into the dugout by Ryan Klesko. So the Atlanta Braves already have 2 home runs in this game, and Andrew Jones, 19 years old, has both of them.
Oh, you got to do a little bit of everything. A couple of home runs, feel the ball off the bat. Wow, what a day.
That was Klesko's foul ball that almost caught him while he was celebrating.
And it's only in the 3rd inning of this ball game. He's going to have 3 or 4 more shots up there to maybe hit 3 in the game.
Ballringer misses inside, and the count is now full on Klesko. 3-2, and he hit his second home run. Well, the Braves really piling it on. They have batted around here in the third inning. And that will do it. As Ballringer gets the strikeout, but real damage done. 9 come to the plate. Andy Pettit out of there after just 2 1/3 innings, and an 8-0 Braves lead. Ball 1. Well, we showed you the Yankees have had come from behind wins throughout this postseason. They need one now. Blauser at short, and Wade Boggs retired, one away here in the third inning. 19-year-old Andrew Jones. Bobby Cox has seen a lot come and go in his career. His comments on that young man.
He's as good a kid as I've ever seen at 19 or 15 or 23. This guy brings an awful lot to the table with him. He can fly. He's got a great throwing arm. He's got tremendous power. And he's a great defensive outfielder. And he's only 19 years old. So this kid is going to be someday a real all-star type player. And he's awfully young right now, but I've got a lot of faith in him. We played him the 7th game of the biggest playoff that we're going to go through for another week or so, and he came through very well.
Well, that's a lot of praise from a manager that have seen a lot of players, and he's exactly right. You put him in Game 7 in the National League Championship game. Why not start him in the #1 in the World Series?
He sure has delivered there. Pitch is taken on the inside corner. Bernie Williams, 1 ball, 1 strike. Andrew Jones during the regular season, we mentioned, had 5 home runs, all coming off the left-handers. So he's now at his first home run off a right-hander at the major league level. He's got 1 from each side here, off pitchers from each side in this game. Jones during the regular season only played 31 games by the time he got through making all those bus trips and made his way up. 31 major league games coming into the postseason. You wouldn't know it.
And that's 42 home runs if you combine his minor league stats with what he's done in the big leagues.
2-1 pitch called strike to Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams drew a walk his first time up. So John Smoltz, a 24-game winner, has an 8-0 lead in the third inning.
Makes it a little bit easier to throw strikes. Challenge some more hitters.
Bernie Williams takes that one down low. Smoltz is still struggling. I mean, he really does not have his repertoire going tonight.
Well, we talked about that, Gary. If you get a pitcher like this, a Cy Young, going to be named Cy Young winner. I think it's easy to say. And he walked 2 batters in the first, walked 2 batters in the second. You needed a 2-out hit from the Yankees. Take advantage of him while you can. All of a sudden now it's an 8-0 lead, and he can settle down.
3-2 the count here in Bernie Williams, and he just puts it in the strike zone. Williams is called out on strikes. That is the first strikeout for John Smoltz, and there are 2 down here in the third inning.
The first baseman, Tino Martinez.
Ball right on the outside part of the plate. Just catches it. See where Javi Lopez had set up, just right in the middle. He put that outside part of the plate right in his middle of his body.
Tino Martinez drew a walk his first time up, and the breaking ball. You see Smoltz talking to himself because he's not getting ahead of hitters. With a strikeout, John Smoltz, 1 shy of 100. He is the all-time leader in postseason strikeouts.
Pretty good company he's keeping too. Whitey Ford, Gibson.
He comes with heat right here. 1 ball, 1 strike. He is 8-1 in his career in postseason games. 1-0 in 5 games he started in World Series play. Fouled off by Tino Martinez. A ball and 2 strikes.
Oh, there's Whitey. Black to Whitey on the famed wall. And that used to be the wall where, before they had those padded fences, that was the home run wall in the old Yankee Stadium. Used
a long drive.
463 feet.
1-2 delivery. Fouled off again. Another thing to bear in mind here for Smoltz, there is rain in the forecast tonight. This is not an official game yet. John Smoltz does not need to be throwing 150 pitches in this game. He's got to get to this official game mark here and wants to do that in a hurry. I say that because the breeze has suddenly picked up, and it is a rain breeze. 1-2 pitch, foul back.
In the off season, you're a little weatherman. I could feel the breeze. I could feel that change in the temperature. I didn't know you did that.
Well, I fish. When you fish, you got to know what a rain.
There you
gotta
go.
know what a rain breeze is.
You know that you're exactly right, though. It did. It dropped a couple of degrees.
Yeah. It's all of a sudden picked up here. 1-2 pitch again on the outside corner. He felt the breeze. 1-2-3 inning. As Martinez is retired, and so are the Yankees. First time he's retired them in order. And the Yankees down. Braves 8, Yankees nothing.
Looking out and not watching. Oh, let's go back.
See, now he feels a little more free and easy. 8 runs will do that to you. But I like how, look at the conversation going on between the guy that really knows himself better than anybody, but they have a lot of respect in Leo Mazzoni.
And the Braves come up here in the 4th inning. 8-7-0 for the Braves. The Yankees are looking for their first hit. Jeff Blauser singled and started that 3rd inning. The number 9 hitter. That one misses, a little down and away. 2 balls and no strikes on Jeff Blauser. Jimmy Key will be starter number 2.
Starter number 2. You already start thinking, going over the hitters in your mind.
Shallow center field, Bernie Williams, and he'll put it away.
You know, you play games right now. Jimmy Key's watching the hitters, saying, okay, tomorrow, how am I going to work these guys? Already thinking a game plan before you go on to the mound. Have an idea what you want to do. Watch them. You can pick up things. Jimmy's down there by the corner of the dugout. You can see how a hitter approaches the ball, what he may try to do differently than what Andy Pettit did. There's the game 3 starter, David Cone. He'll get that start. And remember here, there's no off day.
Yeah.
5 days in a row. And for Brian Boehringer, who's on the mound for the Yankees, you have to take up a lot of innings for Joe Torre's team.
Do not want to go deep into that bullpen early in this series here in game 1. Not even to get them up. People forget when you get relievers up to throw, you are using your relievers, even if they never come into the game. Marquis Grissom, the big cut on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes off Boehringer on the fastball. Brian Boehringer coming on for Andy Pettit. 1-2 delivery to Grissom. Breaking ball. This is inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I was wondering how the Yankees are going to react. Big buildup, almost like a Super Bowl atmosphere. They had so many days off, all the hype. And then all of a sudden, it's only the top of the 3rd inning. You're down 8-0. How do you react to that? Are you going to be able to bounce back? And if you're the Yankees, you need to just chip away. May not win this ball game, but you try to chip away, build on it for this series. It's only game 1.
Fouled off the 3rd base side. Boggs is over and will not have a play. Way back out of play. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, anything in New York is magnified. Anything. And when it comes to the World Series, it absolutely explodes. I mean, every newspaper, all the coverage here because of the New York media in and of itself, much less the rest of the world that's here. And it has been like that. And it's just the writers, the photographers trying to find something to talk about here for the last 2 days. Strawberry's out there and hauls it in. Grissom is retired. The other thing, Rick, that's got to weigh on the mind of the Yankees is knowing that the Braves have just come off a couple of games where they've done this very thing to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right, that's the toughest part because they are firing, and I mean they are on all cylinders. There's the head of the Players Association, Donald Fear. Maybe one day they'll have an agreement.
Would be
eventually.
nice. They have been working here even during the off day. Mark Lemke up. The meetings are back in progress after some months when they weren't talking. Donald Fear has been meeting with the management team, and Bud Selig is in town and has also joined those meetings. Lemke fouls it back. 2 down, nobody on. 2-strike count on Lemke.
Well, Gary, we showed all the press and people covering it. Also, the World Series going to over 200 countries that we're broadcasting. There's the mayor of New York. Had a rally for the Yankees on Friday afternoon. That was before the rain hit Mayor Giuliani.
Lemke takes the breaking ball outside from Bowringer. Lemke has popped out and sacrificed in the third inning. Reverend Jesse Jackson on hand for this ball game. He's from Atlanta, of course. That one drilled down the right field line towards that pole, and it'll be foul. Lemke not known for hitting towering fly balls of any sort. Got around on that one. 1-2 count. Leonard Coleman, head of the league president.
Yeah, he's got a little smile working. National League up. He's the National League president. Up 8-0.
Now the other way by Lemke. Strawberry over, no play. Like we said, it's New York.
Oh, Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal.
Big baseball fan.
There's Billy Crystal right here. See him? Comedian, actor,
Director, producer.
Does a little bit of everything.
1-2 pitch, and that one misses down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Lemke. Mark Lemke's got an interesting story. His dad, he's from Utica, New York. His dad's a longtime Yankee fan. Mark didn't know who his dad was going to be cheering for here in the World Series. Lemke down to first. Martinez. And Bowringer retires the Atlanta Braves in order here in the 4th inning. John Smoltz will go back to work when we come back with the Braves leading the Yankees by a score of 8-0.
Very well in postseason play. That's why I picked him to win this game, especially now that they're 8 runs up.
Fielder flied out to right field. His first time up. Cecil hit .252 during the regular season with 39 home runs combined with the Yankees and the Detroit Tigers. Big Daddy fouling that one back, and Smoltz ahead on the count here, 0-2. Fielder, Strawberry, and O'Neill due up for the Yankees in the 4th inning. John Smoltz looking for his 4th win in postseason this year. 3-0. And he's got his 3rd strikeout. So all of a sudden here, John Smoltz, who did not strike anybody out in the first 2 innings, has struck out the last 3 batters.
All looking. And what that means to me, it's a pitch that you can't hit. See that? It just ties him up inside. You can't hit it, so why offer at it? Got Martinez looking, Bernie Williams looking, and now Cecil Fielder looking at 3rd strikes.
Darryl Strawberry chasing the one down low. Strike 1 on Strawberry. Strawberry flied out his first time up. Numbers from the American League Championship Series for him. And that'll end up in the seats as a souvenir and a 2-strike count. This inning, Smoltz looks like he's starting to settle into the cradle here.
Yeah, he's got a little rhythm going now, and he'll start working a little bit quicker. That's the one thing the Braves staff does. They work quick. You see the 3 infielders on the right side of the infield for the Braves.
0-2 count. Strawberry takes it inside, and it's 1-2.
That ball did not miss by much on the inside part of the plate after a couple of split fingers. Look at that. Just off the plate inside.
Javi Lopez held that pitch for a long time waiting for a call he didn't get. 2-2 on Strawberry.
Big target behind the plate too. Big target. Pitchers say they throw to the middle of the chest protector. So that's why you square up, give them a good target.
Ground ball down to first. That's a fair ball. Mcgriff in the shift was behind the bag and beats him to the base. They had that shift on with 3 infielders on the right side, so Mcgriff was way over by the first baseline on that ground ball. 2 down.
Yeah, and Freddie says he's got to hurry. Strawberry went down the line pretty good. Broken toe must be feeling good. Another split finger. Now you're more apt to pull an off-speed pitch. That's why there's 3 fielders on the right side of the diamond.
Though Strawberry, question about his toes, certainly looks like he is ready to play. I mean, he's had 2 plays in the outfield where it was tested. One to the right, one to the left, and now running down the line.
Good sign for the Yankees. You want his bat in the lineup if you can get it there.
Paul O'Neill drew a walk his first time up. He's ahead on the count here, 2 balls and no strikes, as Smoltz wants the new baseball. 2 down, bases empty. And an 8-0 lead for the Atlanta Braves here at Yankee Stadium. Opening up this series, first 2 games here, the middle 3 will be in Atlanta. Game 6 and 7 would be played here if necessary. Javi Lopez wants a check on this down to third. Steve Ripley says no. And a 3-0 count on Paul O'Neill.
One thing about the Yankees, they have shown that they're willing to come back. They came back from an 8-0 deficit this year in Chicago. The other thing that they do, Gary, is they score runs 5 or more in an inning 29 times. That's more than any other team in baseball. So if you're Torrey, you just want to start getting some good swings, get a hit on the board. They don't have one yet, and try to build on that.
Plenty of time left here, only the 4th inning. That'll be out of play, and Smoltz has battled back to make it a 3-2 count. 2.94 his earned run average, ranked 4th in the National League. He had 6 complete games. That was second best. And he had 2 shutouts, tied for second in that department in the league. Just a magnificent year for this 29-year-old right-hander. 3-2 to Paul O'Neill. That one lined to center field. Marquis Grissom almost running underneath it, but it's hauled in, and John Smoltz has yet to give up a hit to the New York Yankees as he retires the side in order and has set down the last 7 that he's faced. Chipper Jones leads it off and fouls it back. Jones, McGriff, and Lopez do up against Brian Boehringer, starting his 2nd full inning of relief work. Jones delivered a 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning. 7 hits for the Braves. 3rd inning, the big inning.
And Gary, remember, this is where Torrey 1-2 count brings the infield in. Chipper gets the breaking ball on the drawn-in infield. A 2 RBI single. Very aggressive style early in the game for the Braves. Took advantage of their speed. Grissom scores on that short base hit.
A .379 career postseason hitter. Fouls that one back. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chipper Jones. He now has picked up 8 RBIs here in this postseason, and already has garnered 14 hits in the postseason, including a home run. The Jones boys can do it. Hard to keep up with these Jones boys. Pitches outside, 3-2 to Chipper Jones. Brian Boehringer has walked none and struck out 1. Gave up the home run to Andrew Jones after coming on in the 3rd. 3-2 delivery, and Chipper Jones goes to left field. Strawberry near the wall, at the wall, makes the catch. 1 down.
That ball carried a little bit better than Darryl thought. He didn't get back to the wall, and then at the last minute had to reach up to catch it. See, he's drifting back. He didn't get to the wall. See, and then at the last minute just had to reach out. He was lucky to make that play. Get back there in time. Set yourself to make the play.
No question from what we've seen, Rick. The ball's not carrying to right for the left-handed hitters. It is carrying to left field for anybody who wants to put one up out there. And the pitch to McGriff misses outside for a ball.
The thing that makes Fred McGriff so difficult, he stands so far away from the plate. He goes into the ball, but yet he's still able to handle the ball inside.
Long arms, quick bat.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at him, you think you can get him out away. He stands far off the plate. You think you can get him out away, but you really can't. Remember we talked about original Yankee? Signed in '81.
1-1 pitch to him. He held up. They want to check at third. Yes. Steve Ripley again. McGriff thought he had held. It's a ball and 2 strikes on it. Griff had another very strong season for this team, especially the end of it. He ended up .295. Led the team in doubles with 37. 1-2 pitch to him. Floated outside by Boehringer.
Strong.
Very.
Look at that. I mean, look at how far. Look at where he is. He's that far away from the inside part of the plate.
Oh, will it stay fair? Goodbye, home run off the fair pole. Mcgriff, a line shot. Why left-handers love Yankee Stadium. The third home run for the Braves. The first for Mcgriff and the second off Bollringer. And a 9-0 Atlanta lead. A screaming meanie.
That got out of here in a hurry. And it's exactly what we were just talking about. He stands away from the plate, but he's able to handle the ball in. That's what makes him so difficult to pitch to. Boy, that ball got out of here in a hurry and caught the foul pole and hit it hard. I mean, that connected dead center of that foul pole.
He now has 4 home runs in this postseason and 12 RBIs. And Javi Lopez takes the breaking ball for a strike. Well, the Atlanta Braves, their bats did not cool down on the way from Atlanta to New York. 9 runs on 8 hits. Bollringer's breaking ball 1-1. That pole's got a big dent up there
he
right
hit
now.
That ball hard. And the amazing thing is he kept the ball fair. You hit a ball that hard, you want to keep it fair.
Off the fist, foul back. Lairet's back. Will not have a play. 1-2 on the opposing catcher Lopez.
See, most of the times when a left-hand hitter pulls the ball down the left field line, the ball will hook foul. He stayed inside that ball and just drove it down the right field line.
Oh, that's as hard a hit ball as you're liable to see at this World Series. I mean, that was a shot. Fred Mcgriff. They were wondering where his bat was for the first 5 games of the National League Championship Series. He found it. Lopez goes down swinging. Bollringer's second strikeout. There are 2 down here in the 5th.
Boy, and this crowd is more shocked than anything else. They have just exploded on the Yankee pitchers.
Brian Bollringer, the long ball, really jumping up now. That's 3 home runs Bollringer's given up in this postseason. Jermaine Dye, 2 down, bases empty. He goes down after 1 and fouls it off. He has flied out twice to left field.
Well, they were just settling in, the fans, and the next thing you know, you look in the scoreboard, 8-0, now 9-0 in the top of the 5th.
Asking themselves what's going on here. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, they are swinging the bat collectively. You mentioned how not one guy led the league in any one category, RBIs or home runs. So what that tells you is that everybody is contributing. Every day it's somebody different. Today it's Andrew Jones with 2 home runs, 5 RBI.
Jermaine Dye, a towering fly ball to center field. Bernie Williams gets over and gets underneath that one. But the Braves, another run on a hit. The home run by Fred Mcgriff. And have extended their lead to 9-0. Happy to be part of that. Japan, Taiwan, Dutch, Holland broadcasters right there. Going over to Japan out of that booth. Mariano Duncan leading it off here. The World Series is a world event.
It is a world event. 200 different countries getting to see the action.
Mariano Duncan taking that pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. That's Televisa right there. We were in Mexico this season for the first regular season game ever played there in Major League Baseball history. Duncan fouls that one straight back, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. John Smoltz has walked 4, struck out 3. Duncan, Lairetz, and Jeter, 8, 9, and 1 in the order for the Yankees. They are looking for their first hit. 2-1 by Smoltz. Down the right field line. Foul ball. Just got that one off the end of the bat.
Well, that's 2 in a row now. Duncan has faced him twice, and he's just hit the ball towards the end of the bat. That's what Smoltz will do. He'll try to take advantage of you on the outside part of the plate, and he's starting to get into a rhythm now.
Mariano Duncan's been in the World Series 3 times, 3 different teams. Cincinnati, Philadelphia, now the Yankees. Right field, Jermaine Dye. And Duncan's retired, and there's 1 away here in the 5th inning. Smoltz with the long fly ball up, but the other way off the right-hander's bat.
Well, remember, Gary, we talked about what Smoltz is going to do. He's going to make you beat him away. If you as a hitter don't adjust to him, don't maybe move a little closer to the plate, try to hit the ball back to right center field if you're a right-hand hitter, he's just going to stay out there until you make the adjustment.
Jimmy Leyritz coming up. Yankee catcher takes the fastball outside for a ball. He drew a walk in his first at-bat. 4 walks surrendered by Smoltz, but they all came in the first 2 innings. 3 strikeouts have come in the last 2. It's about as hard as he's thrown.
And that's exactly where he's going to work. From that center field camera, you can see exactly where he's going to work a hitter. Right-hand hitter. Away, away, away.
And he's getting the call. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Leyritz.
So he just wants to work right here. He's going to get ahead early on the outside part, and then he's going to keep going a little bit further out and expand the zone.
Got him.
And then when you look away, when you look away, he puts it right under your hands and he freezes you.
Rick, that is the 4th strikeout, and they still are all called 3rd strikes.
Because now you see that's a great example, right? He's already thrown you a couple of pitches here, right there on the outside part of the plate. Now as a hitter, you say, okay, well, I'm going outside, and he busts you on the inside part of the plate and he freezes you. Watch where this ball comes. Right to Lopez on the inside part of the plate, freezes you. That's why he gets the call strikes.
Check swing foul ball here by Derek Jeter.
Take one more look. Look at this. Now he's right on the inside part of the plate after showing you nothing away. I mean, everything away, and then he freezes you inside. Wow.
Jeter takes a strike on the outside corner. Wow has been a term used often this year when John Smoltz has been pitching.
And you know what they do? They stay out of the middle of the plate. Corners, either away or inside.
1-1 delivery. And it's the whole staff. It's the same thing we're going to say about Maddox. It's the same thing we're going to say about Tommy Glavine.
Location is much more important than velocity. And these guys are great examples of that.
2-1 delivery. We were talking on the way over, Rick. The other 2, in Glavine and Maddox, don't throw as hard. Smoltz is the guy who's got the better fastball of the top 3. The others rely even more on that, working you in, out, up, down.
And they force a hitter to make adjustments. If you don't, they're going to continue to bury you on that spot of the plate. I mean, they really do a good job. They make it simple because it's not that simple to stay out of the middle of the area, middle of home plate, where a batter can get the fat part of the bat on a ball. They do it consistently.
3 ball, 2 strike count on Derek Jeter. And outside with a breaking ball. So there is the 5th walk. More walks than John Smoltz has given up in any other game this year. Comes with 2 down.
Well, Gary, I'm really surprised that Smoltz threw a 3-2 breaking ball with a 9-0 lead. I'm really surprised. Look at their Cy Young Award winners. Maddox was trying to do it 4 times in a row. But I think you can say on top of that list, 96, you'll add John Smoltz.
Warren Spahn, the with the Braves franchise. They, of course, have played, the Braves have, in Boston and Milwaukee.
Yeah, correct myself. Maddox did win it 4 times in a row. In 93, I guess it was, he won it for the Cubs while he was pitching for the Cubs.
Wade Boggs with a runner on at first base. And a 1-0 count. He has grounded out twice to the opposing shortstop. What a struggle it has been for Boggs here in postseason. Fouls that one back. Wade has had just 3 hits. 3 for 29 for this career .333 hitter.
Now, Gary, I have never seen a third baseman that's way off the line like Chipper Jones is. Look at where the shortstop is. They can touch each other's hands. That's the defense for Boggs.
Marquis Grissom way back. There's the first hit for the Yankees. Jeter will turn and score. Boggs goes to second base. And the no-hitter's gone. And the Yankees are on the board 9-1.
That's the hardest ball Wade Boggs has hit in this entire postseason. Fastball up and out over the plate. He drives it over Grissom's head. Grissom is known to play very shallow in center field. This time he got beat. Hey, it's okay to get beat in a 9-0 ball game. You know what I mean? Take away those line drive base hits. Not a big deal here if you're Marquis Grissom.
First RBI for Wade Boggs in postseason play this year. Bernie Williams to center field. Marquis Grissom has got a bead on this one and hauls it in. So the Yankees here in the 5th inning pick up a run on a hit. It was the 5th walk to Jeter that created the opportunity, and that's why John Smoltz is not very happy despite leading.